So yesterday afternoon I've already had a pretty good breakthrough with this thing. Came down here after lunch to the shed and just decided I was going to have a little bit of a play with the engine. Lifted it back off the tractor and yeah, to my surprise I've already got it running. It took me about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. All it needed was the points. The points got a really good clean out. Spun it over by hand and got the spark. That was my first little thing, got it sparking. The second step was that stuck valve, the exhaust, so I pulled the cover off the springs and just confirmed, yeah, that valve definitely wasn't going up and down. So I sprayed some WD-40, CRC WD-40 stuff in around the valve stem, took the cylinder head off and gave it a bit of a wiggle and a gentle tap with a hammer, and the valve just freed up just like that. Put the spark plug, put all of that back together, and really good compression. While I had the head off, just checked, and there's no movement in the piston, so the piston rings are good. And then I squirted a little bit of fuel into the carburetor with it on the ground obviously, and pulled it and it fired. So then it was onto the fuel. Took the fuel filter bowl off the other side of the machine around here, freed up the fuel tap, emptied out the stale. It was really nasty turpentine fuel that was in there, so we got rid of that. It still smells a little bit in the shed of that yucky old fuel. Got rid of that, cleaned out the fuel filter, cleaned the screen, blew out the lines, took the bowl off the bottom of the carburetor and freed up the float. That was just sticky, like the varnish. The old fuel just sort of goes a little bit varnishy and sticky, so I got all of that cleaned up with some degreaser, got the float working, blew the fuel line clear, got rid of all of the old fuel, put some fresh fuel in it, and it fired up. Yeah, a few pulls and away it went, and it's running really strong, really loud with no muffler on it. So my mission for today is possibly going to be sorting that muffler out. I've ordered a brand new muffler to come for it, original Briggs and Stratton part. That should be here by the end of the week, but for now, so that I can run it without deafening myself, I want to put that little muffler back on just so I can run it in the next couple of days. I've also still got to do the stop wire, so little stop button up here. I came down in the evening last night and just checked continuity because the wire is actually broken and not long enough, so I'm going to add a little extension wire into that to get it up here. But I had a little bit of a mission trying to get the engine to stop. It was quite funny when I had it running, grabbing that wire and having to hold it against the side of the engine to shut it down. So yeah, that was interesting. So I've checked continuity, the stop button will work, and we'll get that wired up, and then we can put it back on the tractor. Have a little bit of a play with the steering today and see what I can do there, and I might actually be able to drive this thing before the end of this day, and then we'll see how we go with adding more to the video. But yeah, it's just amazing. I didn't film anything yesterday. The camera battery was flat. I threw it on charge. I honestly didn't think I'd get very far, but there we go. I've already got a running engine, and it's only been yesterday was Tuesday, so I picked it up on Saturday, showed you the footage of me having it at home on Sunday. So yeah, it's only been like 3 days since I picked this thing up, and it's already got a running engine, so all good. She'll be driving. Hopefully by the end of this video I'll have it driving. So yeah, keep watching. Thanks. Alright, so this is 100% going to be extremely noisy. Got some earmuffs, no muffler. Excuse the background noise. We've got some work going on in the front yard. The guys are up there doing some drainage work. Might have seen me wave one out the doorway before, but yeah, we'll wrap the cord around this. I've just had it running again. Start it up. I will drop the volume down in the video when I edit this for you, so you don't get big clipping noises, hopefully. So yeah, she's been running pretty good. The throttle, I've noticed the throttle linkage is actually upside down on this one, so whether I can change that or not. This one, low revs is down, you actually pull the lever up to bring the throttle up, but yeah, we worked that out the hard way, sent it to the moon when I first started it, but let's go. So yeah, running, functioning, needs a muffler, extremely loud, and kill switch works. So I'm going to throw this back on the tractor now and see if I can't get it to move under its own power for the first time in about, I don't know, maybe 15 years or more, maybe even 20 years, who knows. Let's go. The workers up the front there are on smoker break, so we've got a little bit of quiet time. I can show you what I've been up to. Yeah, got our motor back on, engine back on there, bolted down, a little bit of tension in the belts. So when I started it and tried to put it in gear, the clutch definitely wasn't disengaging. It was just grinding in the gearbox. So yeah, we've pulled the clutch cover off, and as you can see, I can't turn that by hand now, but there we go. If I turn the belt and turn the motor by hand, the clutch is engaged in neutral, but even when I push down on the pedal, I mean, yeah, obviously you've got to hold the pedal down to disengage it, but if I hold the pedal down, it stays engaged. So we're going to have a play with that now and see if I can't free that up, figure out what's going on. But this one's a bit interesting. It's got a it's almost like a clutch brake, so this doesn't exist on my other Big Chief, so I'm not sure of the function, but you know, you push down on it and it seems to be pulling and pivoting and doing something in there. So yeah, maybe that's to completely bring the transmission to a stop, perhaps, to put it into gear for first gear. But yeah, there's not a lot of movement in there. It's definitely not disengaging these plates, so let's have a play. Had to take one of the back wheels off to get to one of the bolts. There was a little bolt for the clutch cover through this hole that I couldn't get to, and it was quite seized up, so rather than try and work it on an angle and destroy the bolt, I got breakaway spray in there to get that off. Had to remove the gear shift knob to get the cover up over the top of that. So yeah, right, we shall keep moving, try and get this clutch freed up. So yeah, so excuse the background noise, guys are still working up the side of the road. Right, here we are with the clutch. I've got it freed up and functioning now. I've just got to put it all back together, but I thought I'd show you how it works. So this is basically all the movement that's needed. It will free up a little bit more as it sort of self-clearances and clears out some of the corrosion on the surfaces in there. But when this retracts or pulls back, when you put your foot on the pedal, it pulls these little I don't know what you call them, they're little levers I guess, and they are what puts the pressure onto the plates. When the spring pulls in, this pulls in, and the plates all close up on the inside. So with that pulled out, I'll just try and spin the engine by hand, and you can see the whole shaft spins, but that drum doesn't. Okay, so it goes a little bit there, but then when I push in, so pretending there's the spring pressure is pushing in on that, then when I spin it, the entire assembly spins and sends the drive down that chain. So pull back on it, so hopefully disengage it a little bit, and I should be able to spin the outer drum. So yeah, there's heaps of WD-40 penetrants and breakaway spanner and a can stuff in here. That'll all clear out. It is supposed to be a dry clutch, but you know, it just needs to all clear out, and it'll go away. So yeah, thought we'd show you that. I'm just going to put it all back together before I put the cover on. I've got that back wheel back on, by the way, just for safety. I didn't want it falling off the jack. Put all this clutch assembly back together. It is going to be a bit dangerous because I'm going to start it and drive it without the cover over the chain and the belt. I don't want to put all the covers back on and then find out that I've got to take them off again to adjust something. So, and also while it's off, I can get access and start working on this brake linkage and do the same thing, free that up, do up the grub screw into the pulley on the back there, and yeah, alright, just thought I'd add a little bit in. I hope the background noise isn't too much. I'll edit the video the best I can. I'll carry on working. Wow. So she's turned around the opposite way now. Yeah, we've been up driving it up and down the driveway, down the road a little bit and back. So this clutch is super sketchy. it sometimes grabs, sometimes doesn't. I hooked this little clutch brake thing back up, and what I've found with this, and it's the same with my other one, you can hear when the clutch is engaged or disengaged. There's a distinctive little rattle noise that they make. So yeah, possibly I'll take some more things apart another day, but for now it drives. Rod kicking bits around, it's the cover for the clutch. Yeah, filming it running and me driving it's probably not the best idea right now, because it's extremely loud without that muffler on it. Extremely loud, so it'll just clip out all the audio. But yeah, once I get a muffler on it, I'll film some more and show you it driving. But yeah, no, it's pretty good. It was jumping out of third gear for some reason, so that's okay though for its age. I mean, if I have to, it's only low speed, but if I have to drive it around in third gear holding the gear stick in third, that's not an issue. Yeah, right, it's back together. Onto the brakes and the steering, I think. Quick little end of the day update before I put this thing away for the night. So I've managed to get the brake lever semi-free. I can push down. Cars going past like the other day. So yeah, the linkage is moving. That pulls the band tight. But the spring isn't really returning, so I'm not sure if I need a tighter spring or just to be more patient for that WD-40 and penetrating stuff to soak in. See, I've given it another little coat and it's starting to free up now, and it's bouncing back up a little bit on its own. So maybe let all of that soak in overnight and force some more in there tomorrow. Yeah, I've got quite a bit of the play out of this steering column. So the column itself, I tightened up the bolt. There's this bolt here under all this gunk, so I tightened that up, and as well as having the brace down onto the engine. So the steering column itself is tightened up. I did take the stems, or the what do you call these, the linkages, out of the top of these two stems, and the brass or bronze bushings that run down through here are extremely worn, especially like I didn't drop the spindle out, but at the top extremely worn. So I'll investigate getting new bronze for those, or some other options. But this nut was loose on the top of this bolt, sorry. So just tightening that up is taking a little bit of play out, and there's always going to be play because of this great big single bolt pivot through here for the articulation and the tilt on the front. So that's the end of today's little mission. Yep, we'll get it back together, get those brakes fully working, get the cover back on, and then I'll start working on the bonnet. Alright, so down here again this morning for another mission. I didn't do anything on this yesterday, gave it a little break and let the penetrating stuff all sort of seep into where it should have gone and do its thing, and the brakes are 100% freed up now, so I can push down on the pedal and it's springing back up quite easily. The linkages are all moving 100% and the band is tightening. So I've spent most of my day cleaning today. Yeah, a couple of bottles of degreaser and water blaster. I'm not using hot water or steam on this one at this stage. I do have a little handheld steam cleaner I might use for getting into some detailed bits, but I didn't want to force real hot water or steam into anything, so the water blaster's done the trick. It's looking a whole lot better, getting rid of a majority of that gunge. And I've also bought my Penetrol product for finishing and sealing in the patina, so I've just got this sitting up here in the sun. I need to get it nice and dry before I put it away in the shed for the night, so make the most of the sun for the rest of the day, and then we can do a little bit more in the evenings, just, you know, brushing away quietly down here in the shed so I don't disturb the family with big noises. But yeah, there we go. This is another little update. Took the motor back off, obviously. Still waiting on the muffler. Muffler hasn't turned up yet, so that'll be a next week job, I guess. So yeah, anyways, I'm carrying on. So I figured it was probably about time I picked the camera up actually and shared a bit more of this before I get too carried away. I've been working on the little engine here, this little 7-horse Briggs and Stratton, so as you can see it's looking quite glossy now, which is cool. I've spent a long time scrubbing and cleaning this thing. The lighting's not so great, it's night time and my fluoro tubes aren't the best. But anyways, so we made a 100% decision to go with the patina finish for this machine. So I've got all the covers, everything stripped back off, all the parts that were together to get this running are taken off again. The fuel tank's down here. So the product that I'm using on this to seal in the patina is called Penetrol. I've got it in a wipe-on version, which I've actually mixed some, well, not mixed, sorry, I've poured some into a little squirty bottle. But I also got aerosol cans of it as well to get on the insides of the chassis rails and the harder to reach places. So all of the engine parts, you can see a drip running off the bottom of this, have been coated with that spray bottle, and what this stuff does, it gets into all of the pores of the metal. Everything got a really good scrub down, degreased, clean. I spent hours and hours, probably a whole day, scrubbing this stuff down, getting rid of all the loose rust, all the paint flakes, and then you apply this stuff quite liberally. The Penetrol, let it sit, let it soak in, and then give it a bit of a wipe. Just wipe off those excess strips and dribbles before it hardens completely. Good thing with this product is that it's able to be painted over in the future, so if at some stage I decide I'm going to go with the full restoration and repaint this, at least all of this is protected. It can be either sandblasted back off or painted or primed over the top of and painted. So there we go, that's where we're at. The tractor itself is still just sitting here, got some blankets on the seat, I had it covered up, but again I spent the best part of a day cleaning and scrubbing at this. You can see the caked on thick grease is gone. I'm not sure if I showed you this in a previous little bit that I filmed, but I've been working on the bonnet. I've got the grille taken out, the mesh is taken out of the front of the grille there, and I've got it relatively straight. In the back I'm going to, excuse that big noise, I'll hopefully drop that sound volume down for you. Probably just going to have to run a thin piece of sheet metal all the way across to bridge this broken bit here, and for now reuse a couple of the screws that I took out from up here down here, drill a couple of extra holes, and it'll just brace the entire front of this grill. Leave it mesh out for now until I can find a piece of rusty mesh to put back in there. Lubed up the chain. Yeah, the brakes well and truly freed up. They bounce back now when you push the pedal. They bounce up and down how they're supposed to. So yeah, I'm just going to spend a little bit of time now, put some of these covers back on, wipe off some of this excess Penetrol. Some bits dribbling down off there. Once I've got the motor back together, I'll lift it out in the sun. It's really glossy. It looks wet, it looks oily, but it's not. It's sort of sets sort of like a clear varnish really, and looks quite cool, I reckon. So by the time the whole tractor's done, it's going to come up really neat. So yeah, right, I'll get back to work. So we have been hard at it with this thing. I spent the whole day today working on this. I got the covers and stuff back on the engine last night actually. So this Penetrol stuff, like, it is amazing. I cannot speak more highly of this stuff. Like, it is unreal. Like, sprayed this all up, let it dry. It looks waxy, but it's not. It's like so smooth to touch. It's so nice. A little bit sticky here and there, but that'll dry off. Yeah, fuel tank's back on. So one thing I don't think I showed you, the fuel tank was actually the wrong way around on this. So when I got it all clean, I could see the telltale signs and the marks in the paint. So this is now back on the right way. I don't know why it was the wrong way. What it did mean was having to redo the fuel line. There's a little piece here that I took out. So the fuel line must have been broken at some stage. So I've put it back in the right way around. Had to put a little splice, a little join in here, a couple of hose clamps. They're shiny, they'll stand out, but you know, doesn't matter. The tractor itself, I had this outside, gave it another bit of a wash down and sprayed it completely with Penetrol. There's still places that there's grease that I didn't get off, but I don't want to steam clean, so we've just given it all a good coat. It's sealed up all the pores of the corrosion in the surfaces. Yeah, so it'll stop it getting any worse. Same with the wheels, they're all done, so they just got a good scrub down and clean. I probably could have scrubbed more to get rid of the orange off the surface of these, but I like the look. The bonnet is sitting over here. It's come up unreal. Like, it just looks super glossy at the moment. You can see the sheen coming back off it, and once that dries completely and that penetrol hardens up on the surface, that's going to look amazing. So I got the grille, or the front, put back together. I used a piece of flat bar. Actually, spin it around carefully and I can show you what I did to the front. Here we go. So across the bottom I drilled some extra holes and used a thin piece of flat bar. There's a piece of flat steel bar, 1mm by 20mm I think, running through, hidden behind there. Got the rivet holes, so instead of putting rivets back in, I've used little bolts with washers and spring washers and nuts on the back. At some stage I may pull them out one at a time and re-rivet them, but I want to make sure that this lines up and the bonnet closes properly. This is our gearbox cover, clutch cover. Same thing, it's just so nice, all got scrubbed down. The other discovery that I made, I've taken the seat and the seat bracket off. So there's the bracket, and I discovered that the seat is actually spring loaded, so this obviously goes down inside there, and sitting on the bench is a great big spring. So I was wondering why there wasn't much leg room between the seat and the steering wheel, and it was because the seat was up and it had just been sitting, obviously no one's sitting on it and nothing to compress the spring, and it hadn't been down for a while. So hopefully I'll have enough weight. I'm a pretty lightweight kind of guy, but if I've got enough weight I can get that seat to drop down into the spring when I'm sitting on it. If not, I can pull the seat out, take the spring out and just sit with it bottomed out. Won't bother me too much. Put a cushion on the seat when I'm driving it around. So yeah, next mission is putting the motor, engine back on, putting the covers back on. That clutch, I've given it another really good dosing of WD-40 and it's moving really free now. I've lubed the chain, used some motorcycle chain lube on that. So yeah, put it back together and wait for the muffler to turn up. That still hasn't turned up, which is bugging me a little bit. It's been 7 days now since it was ordered. It was supposed to be a dispatch time of 3 or 4, so we'll see. The last thing that I'm going to do, very last thing, is going to be the seat. I can scrub it and clean it, but I'm not going to penetrol the top side of that until I've been driving around on the machine a bit, because I want to have some fun, and it's going to take about maybe 3 or 4 days for the penetrol to completely harden. Like, it gets touch dry and you know, you can move it and work with it, but sitting on it, I don't want to stick to the seat and mess it up. So yeah, let's just get on with this, get the motor put back on and start putting the bonnet on, I guess. One little extra thing that I've got for the bonnet, where did I put them? Sitting around here somewhere, is a couple of springs. So these are going to be my new bonnet clips. There was a little nut and bolt through here, but what I've found that I can do is put the spring through the hole, and hopefully I may have to cut the spring down or shorten it in some way, but there's a little clip on the top of the bonnet. I'll cut the spring and bend it to make a loop, and these will hold my bonnet down at the back there, instead of I think it would have had rubber clips originally, but I can't find them in the photo, and I can't seem to find any little rubber clips that I can buy. So yeah, this is my solution. Right, let's get things back together. Nice little short run there, pretty bloody noisy this thing. So bonnet back on, yeah, spring clips are made, so these work out quite cool. Just hold the bonnet down, get it back on there. I can probably cut another couple of loops out of that and give it a bit more tension, but it sits where it's supposed to. Belt guard back on, things are all tight. I didn't engage the clutch or disengage the clutch and try any gears, but yeah, she's running. That patina look, that's so cool. So that's sort of just like it was in that AI ChatGPT thing that I did, you know. It's got that glossy look to it, still sealed in the patina and the look underneath it. So a few little bits that'll get an extra coat down here, probably along the chassis, just to bring the gloss up a little bit more. So yeah, next thing is get that seat bracket cleaned up, get that coated and get that back on, and then I guess we can just throw the seat in and take it for a little drive. But I don't want to go too far or run it too long without a muffler. Flames coming out through that exhaust port, so I want to get that back on. With it free flowing at the moment, I want to get that muffler in there so that it'll hold back a bit of the pressure, and then I can tune the carb properly. So yeah, cool. Well, here we are. This is the last little bit that I can film for this video, and then send it out for you guys to watch. So got as far as I can. The only little hold up that I've got is the muffler for this thing, so tried my best. It's on back order and won't be here until September, so early October I'll be able to get that freighted to me. But anyways, look, yeah, it's as done as it's going to be. I'm going to put a rope on it and start it up. It's going to be loud, but I'll drop the volume in the video for you guys and just show you a few shots of this thing driving around and some nice photos that I took. So I got a replacement piece of mesh for the front grille. Not identical to the old stuff, but it's not overly shiny and doesn't stand out too bad either. I replaced all the little grease boots on the ball joints, did them the other night. So really it's Saturday the 27th I think today, so it's been pretty much bang on 3 weeks since I drove to Eltham and picked this thing up, and to get it this far, great. Excuse the noises, lots of cars drive past my place, it's just unavoidable. Yeah, so patina finish has come up really nice. Got the bonnet all straightened up and put back on. Got my seat back on. I found the spring works really well. So yeah, let's just start it, drive it, and I'll throw some photos in there. It's very loud. It's fun. I've had everything out of the shed on display today for a few people to come and have a look at and driving around and stuff. So yeah, right, let's fire it up and see what happens. Cheers. So there we have it. Yeah, 1 of 3, running again. Show you some photos. Took up on the lawn. If you like this video, please share, subscribe. Yeah, it goes a long way. Just helps me out, gives me some encouragement. It was really cool sharing the stories of this thing. I'm putting together an article that's probably going to go in a magazine about these. Really, really awesome having this reunited with its brother, a Red Big Chief in there. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.